Ever wondered how much data you're using when streaming videos or music? Whether watching Netflix, YouTube, or Spotify, data usage adds up fast. Today, let's break down how much data each streaming resolution and audio quality level consumes. Let's dive in. The amount of data you use depends on these main factors: resolution and duration. Basically, higher quality equals more data. Here's a breakdown. On the many video streaming platforms like YouTube, Netflix, and Apple TV, the various resolutions or quality of the video will use these amounts of data. 144p will use about 50 to 100 megabytes per hour. 240p will use about 130 to 300 megabytes per hour. 360p will use between 300 to 500 megabytes per hour. 480p will use 500 to 700 megabytes per hour. 720p will need about 1.1 to 1.3 gigabytes per hour. 1080p will need about 2.5 to 3.6 gigabytes per hour. 1440p will need about 4.5 to 7 gigabytes per hour. 2160p will use about 7 to 11 gigabytes per hour. And 4K will use about 9 to 18 gigabytes per hour. So, if you're binge watching Netflix in 4K HDR, you could be burning through up to 18 gigabytes per hour. But if you drop down to 720p, you're only using about 1 gigabyte per hour. And this is a huge difference. Now, let's talk about music. You might think streaming songs barely uses data, but at high quality, it can add up, especially if you're a music lover. Here's the breakdown for music streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Tidal. Low, 96 kbps, will use about 40 to 50 megabytes per hour. Standard, 160 kbps, 192 kbps, will use about 70 to 90 megabytes per hour. High, 256 kbps, 320 kbps, will use about 115 to 150 megabytes per hour. Lossless, FLAC, YLAC wave, will use about 500 megabytes to 1 gigabyte per hour. And high-res audio, 24 bit/192 kilohertz, will use about 2 gigabytes per hour. So, if you're streaming at 320 kbps, high quality, you're using around 150 megabytes per hour, not bad. But if you're an audiophile streaming high-res audio, you could be using up to 2 gigabytes per hour. That's basically like streaming a full HD movie just for music. Okay, now that you know how much data streaming eats up, let's talk about how to save data without ruining your experience. Here are some quick tips. Lower your video resolution. If you're on mobile, watching at 720p or even 480p is still decent and saves a lot of data. Use Wi-Fi whenever possible. This one is a no-brainer. Always connect to Wi-Fi to avoid using your mobile data. Adjust your app settings. Many platforms let you set a data cap. Netflix, YouTube, and Spotify have options for data saver mode. Download content for offline use. If you're traveling or have limited data, downloading your favorite shows or songs ahead of time is a lifesaver. Alright, now you know exactly how much data your streaming habits are consuming and how to optimize them. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment. What's your go-to streaming platform?